my name is Emma, and today I'm talking about my signed book collection. I'm lucky enough to live in New York, which I believe to be one of the biggest publishing capitals of the world, so there's gonna be a lot of book signings, always. And I've been lucky enough to attend a lot of those, so I currently have a collection of 13 signed books that is ever growing. I mean, I have more events later this month, and next month, and the month after that, and then a couple months later. I want to go to a lot of book signings. But I just thought this would be a cool video to show you and share the stories of how I got these books signed. So I'm going to go in order of when I first got them signed to my most recent signing. The first book I ever got signed was the Shadowhunters Codex by Cassandra Clare. She signed it right here. So at Bookon 2014, the absolute first thing I did was run to the Cassandra Clare signing, and I was lucky enough to get a couple of book signs, which I'm going to show you after this one. At Bookon 2014, which I think was the absolute best way to get book signing, is they were basically giving away copies. You could bring your own, but they also brought ones in, and like if you donated $1, you could get it, but you didn't even have to donate $1. So I basically got this for free. And so I had brought City of Heavenly Fire for Cassandra Clare to sign, and my mom had brought City of Bones so she could get it signed after me. And so as soon as I approached Cassandra Clare, I'm just talking. It's like word vomit. Like I just cannot stop talking, and she starts to sign the Shadowhunters Codex, and I'm like, oh my god, she's not gonna sign City of Heavenly Fire. I'm going to die. But then she realized that it was in my hand, and so she was like, oh, did you want me to sign that? Here, take this one and I'll sign that too. So Cassandra Clare basically gave me this copy because I wasn't even meant to get it. And then I think because we were talking so much and like things were going so fast, she didn't sign it in like the ideal place. It's the first thing that happens when you open the book. Like, there's no indication that it's City of Heavenly Fire. It just says Cassandra Clare. But it was so awesome that, like, she just gave me that copy. Like, I'm like, Cassandra Clare gave me one of her books for free. That's how I want to think of it. But I'm so happy that I got to get City of Heavenly Fire signed. And then my mom had read the Mortal Instruments series, so she got City of Bones signed for me and was able to speak to Cassandra Clare too. And she signed it in the ideal spot where she's supposed to sign every book. But the most important thing is that I have 3 books signed by my all-time favorite author, and I got to meet her, which is just the coolest thing in the entire world. Also, everyone like hates Cassandra Clare's signature, but I love it. I think it's so creative that it's just the C line, C line. It works for her, and I think it's cool, so don't hate on her signature. So the next 2 books that I got signed were also at Bookon 2014. The first being The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. And so like what happened with Cassandra Clare, she takes a book from the pile and starts to sign it. And so I brought The Darkest Minds and Never Fade because I wanted her to sign both, but I had a feeling that she was only going to sign one. And so for whatever reason, I thought she was only going to sign Never Fade, so I was like, I have a copy in my bag if you'd rather sign that so somebody else can have the copy of Never Fade that you're giving away. And so she was like, yeah, that works. So I put my Darkest Minds book, which I was holding in my hand, down on the table, and I'm starting to get Never Fade out of my bag while we're talking. And so she just looks at the book, and like I'm like, oh, I could see this thought forming in her mind. And so she decided to sign The Darkest Minds too. And so this one says, to Emma, Alexandra Bracken. And I just thought it was super nice of her. Like, she was like so amazed that I offered to have my own book signed and not have 2 copies and take one away from someone else. So she signed Never Fade too the exact same way, and I don't know, it was just a really great experience. She was super sweet. She thought I was super sweet for doing that, and that whole Bookon 2014 experience was so great. And so the next book I got signed isn't really one that I personally got signed. It just kind of came signed, and that is Taken by Erin Bauman. I believe it was Latham, who's one of our fellow booktubers, who recommended this book to me, but I could be wrong. But I just ordered the first 2 off Amazon, and I didn't realize that this was a signed autographed copy. Like, it didn't say that it was, and it just showed up. Like, I remember my first unboxing ever was with this book, and I was like, oh my god, it's signed. Now, I personally am not a fan of ordering signed books. I feel like it kind of defeats the purpose of having a book personally signed for you. So I've never intentionally buy a book signed online. Like, I want to go meet the author. That's why I want the book signed. But it was signed, and that's still pretty cool. I mean, I don't know if Amazon does that often, where like they just randomly send a signed copy. If that's ever happened to you, let me know in the comments below. But I thought it was pretty cool that I ended up with a signed copy anyways. And so the next 2 books that I have signed, the first one is Ignite by Lily Paradis. This is actually the first book I was ever sent to review, so that's special enough. And I wasn't expecting her to sign it, but I love how Lily Paradis signs her books. It says, Emma, enjoy, cheers to finding a real-life Dean Powell, XOXO Lily Paradis. And then she kissed it, and it's written in pink, and she kissed it in this bright pink lipstick, and I just thought it was super cute and unique. Lily is somebody that I've really come to love. She is so nice, super sweet, and an amazing author. So once I had posted the review, and I will link link the review to Ignite, which is spoiler free, in the description if you want to watch it. She loved it so much. She was like, I was crying while watching her review because it was so sweet and honest. She added me to her mailing list, so basically anytime she produces an arc, she'll send it to me without like even asking, basically. And so then I got her second novel, which is Volition, and this is actually my first actual arc that I received. So I received my first review book and my first official arc, both from Lily Paradise. And so the cool thing is Ignite is very bubbly and would be associated with pink, but this one is definitely much darker. And so she wrote it, and it says, Emma, you'll find yours someday, XOXO Lily Paradise, and she kissed it in black. And I thought that was super fitting, and I love her so much. She's so kind. I am in the freaking acknowledgements for this book. If you have Volition, go to the acknowledgements and you will see my name, which is another first for me from Lily Paradise, and I still freak out over it because it's the coolest thing in the entire world. But although I haven't gotten the chance to meet Lily one day, I'm super anticipating the day that she actually does come to New York and I can meet her, because that would be so exciting. And so the next book that I'm going to show you is also a book that I was sent to review, and that is Every Last Word by Tamara Ireland Stone. This isn't the actual copy I received. I received an arc which looks a little different. It's in paperback, but after I had posted the review and the book had come out, I was invited to go to the launch party at Books of Wonder in New York City to meet Tamara, which was super awesome. This book is another one that just meant so much to me. It was a really great read, and I loved it so much. So being able to actually talk to Tamara and like actually meeting an author who asked me to review their book, oh my god, just too many feelings. So this one is also personalized, and it says, For Emma, your words matter, Tamara Stone. And it's just signed, and it was such a great experience. That was my first time actually going to like a legitimate signing that was private and not at like Bookon, so that was super exciting. My mom's actually currently reading it, which is why you can see the bookmark, but this book was another one that was super great, and the author is just the loveliest woman on the entire planet. So now we're skipping ahead to Bookon 2015. So my Bookon experience, if you want to hear about it, I will leave the link. I'll leave the link to both Bookon videos because I have 2 total wrap-ups of both experiences from both years if you want to watch them. But at Bookon this year, all I did was really hang out with friends. Like, I didn't get to actually meet any authors at Bookon, but there was a later signing after Bookon Day 1 had ended with a couple of different authors, and as soon as we heard about it, we had to go. And so one of the authors that I really wanted to meet at Bookon was Rochelle Mead. I had just finished Vampire Academy and I loved it so much, so I was super excited to meet her. But I ended up not bringing a book with me that day because the signing at Bookon, you had to pay for the book, so I was like, there's no point. But anyways, that didn't work out, and we went to the Strand and I found this edition of, that is Bloodlines. This is the edition of Vampire Academy that I was supposed to be holding up, because the one that came in the box set is the movie cover. And so we were at the Strand and I found the actual cover that matches the box set, so I was like, oh, I'm totally getting this. And then after we went and I bought this book, that's when Kat told us about this signing. So it was just total destiny. And so Rochelle wrote, To Emma, so great to meet you, Rochelle Mead. And I was so happy that I got to meet her. I so wish I could have met her after finishing the whole series, because I would have freaked out 10 times more. But she was super nice, and it was a really last minute decision to meet her, but I'm so glad it worked out. And so then also at that signing was Sabaa Tahir, who is the author of An Ember in the Ashes. And so I didn't have this book, but I figured she was there and it would be cool to meet other authors. So I bought this book and I had her sign it. And so this one says, For Emma, Sabaa Tahir, and I was super nervous about meeting an author for the first time after not reading their book. I know a lot of times at book conventions, people will just go online and get books signed if they've heard of them and they hadn't actually read anything from the author. And I was so freaking out because I was like, what do I say? Is she going to feel weird that I'm on her signing line because I haven't read her book? Total anxiety beforehand, but Sabaa Tahir ended up being really super cool and super funny, and it wasn't like awkward at all like I thought it would have been. So meeting her definitely pushed me to read this book more than I wanted to beforehand. I still haven't read it, but I really want to. But it was definitely cool to have my first experience meeting an author that I hadn't read from. Very cool and relaxed, and it was really great. And also one thing that she did was she had everyone who went on her signing line sign one of her books, so like it was like a memory, and I hadn't seen anyone do that before, and it was super cool, and that was a super cool signing. So that's it for the Bookon books. The next book I have is Boost by D.A. Gray. This is another arc that I was sent, and I'm currently reading it and getting ready to review it. So keep an eye out for a spoiler-free review of this on my channel soon. And so in the corner she wrote, Thank you, D.A. Paul, because she had contacted me on Goodreads and asked me personally to review it on my channel, and I'm only about halfway through it. I think I'm like exactly halfway through. But I'm really enjoying it, so I'm really glad that I was sent it. I wasn't expecting her to sign it. You know, I knew that Lily was always going to sign her books, but I just figure a lot of authors don't have time to sign their books that they're giving away as ARCs, but I thought it was really cool. It was a really nice surprise. And so the final books that I got signed, I actually got signed only 2 days ago. September 1st was the release of Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas, and she had a launch party event in New York City with Sasha from A Book Utopia, and so there was a really great conversation, and then we had the chance to signing later. And so the thing about the stupid signing at the 92Y, let me tell you about the 92Y. So I don't know why it was for the signing, but you had to buy a book there, or like place an order with Books of Wonder so you could actually join the signing line, which is stupid because I have these beautiful paperback UK covers that they don't sell. So I really didn't want to buy Queen of Shadows, and like I had all the other books, so I was like stuck. So I ended up buying Queen of Shadows and getting it signed from Miss Sassy Cassie, and I'm shipping that off tomorrow so she can have a signed copy because I know she loves the Throne of Glass series. But so you were allowed 1 personalized book and then 2 other signs. So I got 1 signed from Cassie and I got Throne of Glass personalized. And I saw people like writing stuff for her to say, and I was like, I don't want to tell her what to say. So it just says to Emma with 2 hearts, and it says Sarah J. Maas, and I really like her signature too. And then I also have Crown of Midnight signed, but it just has her signature. It's not personalized or anything, but it's still personalized because she signed it in front of me. But Sarah J. Maas was super cool. I told her she was so down to earth, and this is my favorite part of the signing. I told her she's so down to earth and so funny, and she looked me dead in the eye and is like, I threatened to burn down my high school on stage, and I like burst out with laughter. It was such a great experience. I'm so happy I got to meet her. I've mentioned that Throne of Glass definitely isn't my favorite series of all time, obviously. It's just that high fantasy isn't my cup of tea, but out of all the high fantasy and epic fantasy that I have read, Throne of Glass is my favorite. And I think meeting her and seeing her talk about her books and Queen of Shadows definitely made me want to reread them. Like, I'm definitely getting a reread of Throne of Glass in soon, and it made me more excited to read Queen of Shadows, which I haven't ordered yet, but I need it to match, so I gotta wait. But I am definitely more excited to read Queen of Shadows since meeting Sarah J. Maas. So those are all of my signed books. I have had some amazing experiences meeting authors, and I am so hopeful for the future that I get to meet tons more. So in the future I will be doing an updated signed book collection, but for now I'm really happy with the books that I've read because I've had great experiences meeting and talking to all of these authors. Leave me a comment of some of your favorite experiences, either meeting authors or if you have any signed books or anything you want to go to, just something about signed books because they're the best kind of books. But that's it for this video, and I will see you soon for a new one. Bye!